Hello everyone, welcome to CryptoPi. In today's video, I want to talk about bear market strengthens. Alright, so we have seen Bitcoin's momentum going down since October, and there has been narrative once in a while that we will continue Bitcoin supercycle. So all these pullbacks, they are basically short-term drawdowns, and Bitcoin will continue its rally to 250, 300,000, considering we are in the supercycle phase. This idea of supercycle has basically trapped quite a good number of investors, traders, who rarely look at price action from a technical point of view. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is a pretty strong asset, but it has its 4-year cycle phases. It has its 4-year cycle, and in different phases of this 4-year cycle, Bitcoin basically goes in a bear market, and within that bear market there are some pullback rallies, and in a bull market there are quite a good number of drawdowns. Now, first thing to do is to switch on the accumulation line and the distribution lines. These two lines basically help us divide the chart in 4-year cycle phase. We have 3 years of uptrend, 1 year of downtrend. And the idea, what I mentioned, bear market strengthens, is coming from the volume supertrend indicator. You can go to indicators, type in volume supertrend AI Expo indicator by Siaman. It's quite well described how to use it, what are trend continuation, and so on. If you use this indicator on a day time frame, you might see that there are quite some fluctuations in what indicator is trying to indicate. So here it says the downtrend has begun. It is correct, but then you see price going upwards when it is still in the red. And over here, the downtrend has begun, but price is still saying it is good to be long, or it's quite bullish. To get rid of this kind of fluctuations, I used it on the weekly time frame, where it is much more clear. It was this indicator which was the only one until recently where I could see some form of bullish component being stronger than the bearish component. So up until January, it was still green, and it flipped to blue, which is more like not decisive phase, whether it's bullish or bearish, up until February. So in February 16th, we can see that the component turned to blue, but until the end of January, it was still pretty much saying that we are having a pullback and Bitcoin is still in its bullish phase. One might say that as soon as the price crosses the volume supertrend, we are not in the bullish phase. But over here in Corona crash, we did cross, and we were under the supertrend, and afterwards we saw bullish component maintaining its strength over the bearish component and continuing the bull market. But when the supertrend has become blue in the bear market year, so that is the midterm year, it has never turned to green in middle. Once it is blue, it has been always turned to red, and when the volume supertrend is red, we are in a pretty strong bearish territory. We might see pullbacks like it has happened over here. We saw pullback over here, and there are phases of bear market where you see some pullbacks over here. Over here was also quite a good pullback. And this kind of short rallies during the bear market basically traps the traders who are in some or the other way biased towards a bull run which will extend more than 3 years. Another indicator which we discussed in previous video was Indian oscillator. I want to bring it up again and see how it has confluence with the super trend indicator. In the midterm year, or one can say after the price has crossed the distribution line, the bearish component of the oscillator remains to be strong compared to the bullish component. Wherever we have this kind of bullish component gaining some strength, these are the point where it rallies. We saw a short rally over here where Bitcoin went from 80,000 to 96,000. That's where the bullish component was gaining some strength. However, it was not gaining strength over the bearish component. Bearish component remains to be strong. And up until the bearish component is at such high values, we might not see Bitcoin again turning into the bull run. Bull run usually happens after price has crossed the accumulation line, price has bottomed after the accumulation line, we see some form of consolidation, sideways price action, and then price starts going upwards, starting the new bull run in the 4-year cycle. So I would say keep an eye on Indian oscillator as well as the volume super trend. Mark these lines, distribution lines and accumulation line on your chart. It is better to not fall into the trap of super cycle and look at the price action, look at the technical indicators before making a decision. That would be all for today's video. If you like the analysis, then do hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.